I don't know what to call this episode. Mad. Rage.
Mad. I feel like
Orgasm
if you are
Orgasm stink. I don't know. Fuck them. I can't. Mad.
I
Anger.
highly suggest if I'm gonna repeat the trigger warning.
I think
that
for
the R word and for other sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And physical abuse as
not
well. Domestic abuse.
Yeah.
I'd like literally, if you even get a little bit, just maybe don't listen to this one.
Yeah. Orgasm stink.
Orgasm stink. You just can't get past orgasm stink. Oh my God, I just got it. Like Orgasm Inc.
The whole time
I was like, what?
You're like, why do they smell? What do you mean stink? Does somebody have a problem? Does somebody
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't get it.
That's a weird.
Oh my God.
Okay,
let's do
the damn thing.
Okay. So this was not so before I start this was like not on my schedule. And so I went to dinner when we were in San Francisco, or when I was in San Francisco, I went to dinner with Stephanie and Chelsea. And we were talking about the podcast, and Chelsea was like, have you seen like all that, this documentary called Orgasm Inc.? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, you should look into it because this is like right up your alley. And
oh my God,
like,
what's it on?
It's on Netflix. I think it's on, yeah, it's on Netflix. And I was like, I have a whole roster of things. Maybe I'll get to it. And then like fast forward, I was sick and oh, okay, wait, no. Actually, I didn't watch it when I was sick because when I was sick, I thought, I should watch this because it would be really productive.
Right.
But instead,
I'm researching. Yeah, I'm sick.
Instead, I watched Lisa Frankenstein.
What?
6 times.
6 times?
That was just when I was sick.
I've never watched anything
multiple times after. I don't know. It's my new, like, maybe it's just my entire personality now. But
Lisa Frankenstein? Yes. What is it on? The Netflix? The Hulu's?
I think it's on Peacock. It was like it's Diablo Cody's like new movie where it's like in 89. And it's like kind of like Frankenstein and Cole Sprouse, aka like
wait, isn't he a Disney kid?
Ben from Friends, Ross's son?
Oh my God!
He is like this like zombie, like old zombie guy, and they like it's kind of like Heathers. Ever seen Heathers?
No,
you haven't seen Heathers.
No. What is that?
It's like got Winona Ryder and Christian Slater, and it's like
I have beef with Winona because Aldrich loves her, so.
Well, you don't love Christian Slater? You should watch it because Christian Slater's the cute in it.
He is very cute.
And he's like super crazy.
Wasn't he like Robin of Locksley or something? Or what was he in that I was like, oh my God, take me now?
He wasn't.
He was Robin Hood? Was he Robin Hood, perhaps?
I think he was Little John. No, he wasn't Little John.
Oh, but he was one of the men.
He was one of the merry men. The Kevin Costner one, right?
Oh, I think so. I remember he just has a twinkle in his eye. And I was like...
There's this movie in the 80s called Gleaming of the Cube where he's the skater. And he is, writing it down. Gleaming of the Cube. He's like a skateboarder. I needed to differentiate so you didn't think skater like Brink. How they're like, we're skaters. But really, they're like... rollerbladers. But yeah, he's like a skater and he's got like this one earring. I don't know. He's so hot.
What?
I used to watch Gleaming of the Cube in high school and be like, oh God, I want to marry this guy. He's so gorgeous.
He's always had, he has a twinkle, doesn't he?
He does have a twinkle.
Yeah.
But, like the boyish, like the JTT-ness of him didn't like, I don't know, maybe he does. I don't know. I saw him in like a kid's movie recently. I can't remember what it was.
Wait, like an old one?
No.
A new one?
Yeah. Oh, We Can Be Heroes. You know the one with Pedro? Yeah. The kids one?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is he?
He's one of the dads of the superhero kids.
What?
But Pedro Pascal, he steals the show because
I didn't even
he's
notice him.
Hot dad vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Christian Slater is a dad underneath Pedro Pascal's dad's dad. They're all he's one of the dad superheroes.
Okay. I feel bad I overlooked him.
Yeah. But yeah, you should watch Heathers. Anyways, Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's got Heathers vibes, but also Edward Scissorhand vibes.
Ooh.
Which are two movies that are just are my jam.
Yep.
But yeah, it's her Lisa
Frankenstein.
and
But wait, let's talk about how you can watch
good.
just anything 6 times.
I don't. It's it gives me so much joy.
Were you intently watching it?
No,
I mean, background?
Okay, I put it on the background, but then I end up being
and then it stops doing your drugs.
Either
way,
because
it reels you right back in.
It's so stupid, but it's fun.
That is so funny.
It keeps my mood up.
Yeah, well, and that's important when you're sick.
Yeah,
because when I'm sick, I feel
that's what I watched when Tommy took the kids to your house. I thought, here's my night. I'm gonna watch a new scary movie.
Nope, Lisa Frankenstein.
No, Lisa Frankenstein. I finished because I had paused. I finished Lisa Frankenstein, then restarted it.
Yeah.
And then watched Pearl or something. I don't know. I watched.
That is.
I was I should watch a scary movie, so I put one on.
I tried to watch a scary movie and then I got too scared and then I turned it off.
What
and
movie?
I was I have to wait till Aldridge. It's one with Denzel Washington. It's a crime one. They're trying to find a killer, and totally up my alley.
Fallen?
No. What the last one? Nope. The last.
Oh, is it a newer?
The little thing. Little last.
It's a newer one.
Yeah, it is
newer.
No. My Aura Ring's talking to me. It's saying, "Hey, bitch, go to sleep." But yeah, it was too scary. It was. So it opens up with this young girl, driving by herself, and then all of a sudden a car comes out of nowhere and pulls up right on her ass, and she's you can see the fear in her, and I'm like, oh God, I can't. This is in that moment,
yeah.
Because it could totally happen to me in real life.
Yeah.
I said, I must abort this.
Too
mission.
real.
Yeah, it was scary. And then I watched it with Aldridge, and it really wasn't that bad. But
so when I was sick, I thought I was gonna watch. Did not. And then randomly decided I would watch it, and then I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" It was so out of control that I was then of course it got moved up to immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so thanks Chelsea for telling me about it. I almost texted. There's a group chat between me, her, and Steph, and I almost texted them to be like, what the fuck? But then I was like, wait, I don't know if Steph is even gonna remember the conversation.
Right? So
hard for me to be like, hey, yo, did you watch this orgasm thing?
Yeah. Out of the nowheres.
Oh my God. Also, when was that this weekend? Jess was or what did I say that I was doing? I sent you a picture of what I was doing, and it was me. I was it was just my feet and me taking notes. I was oh, I showered, I put on jeans, but I'm back in bed doing notes. And then I realized that you could see my notes, and I was I hope she doesn't zoom in, because it was just orgasm. And I'm yes, the fuck I did zoom in. Of course, I zoomed in because I want to see everything, and all I saw it, and I was juice.
It's gonna be so good. No, I saw it.
Yeah.
It was good.
So this episode has a trigger warning. Okay. Oh my God. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Jess. And you're listening to Spiritually Booked.
We are 55 minutes in.
Love this for us.
And we just
don't get any
now.
better.
We don't.
Get
it
any
gets
better.
further and further.
Like, literally, you just have to know by now.
We need to like record an intro where we say our names before, so we never have to.
And
do
just
it.
like so that it could just be like, okay, let's like jump into it, because it's not natural for us to stop and introduce.
I know. So this episode has a trigger warning for sexual abuse, domestic abuse, and like kind of like provocative language.
Ooh.
So that's not actually for most people, but that's for my mom.
Oh.
My mom and possibly Jimmy. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Maybe they just skip over this episode. I would not want to hear my kids talk.
No, yeah,
orgasms.
like maybe you can skip it, or like just don't tell me that you listen.
Or yeah,
which of course that means that they're going to
tell you,
and they're going to have opinions that they're going to want to share.
Oh God, I love that. But I do love that they listen all the time.
So this case is super interesting because I think that it's a concept that is interesting, and it could be empowering to a lot of people, and I see the rationale behind it, and it gets pretty gross, but not in the way that you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like
now my brain just went so many different places.
So yeah, I do feel like, I'm going to say this ahead of it, is that I do feel like it's scary, because when I listen to this woman talk, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I would have partaken.
Sex is like such a, not weird, but it's like, it could be so many different things to so many different people. So many people have different, like, as long as it's consensual,
yeah,
you could take sex just everywhere. You know what I mean? Like anything could be kind of turny-on-y, you know.
Yeah, this is not right. This whole situation
straight out the gate.
But like straight out the gate,
ain't
it's
it.
not. Yeah, this is not
it.
it. This is not it. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
But I do see these like kernels of like. I see like I like understand these kernels of like knowledge that I think could have been like, if utilized in the right way, like really powerful, but just
they
weren't, because people are gross.
Yeah.
So OneTaste was, I'm gonna say it's not around anymore. It is around, but not as OneTaste.
Oh, okay.
So OneTaste was a San Francisco-based startup in the early aughts based on the concept of orgasmic meditation, or oming, like OM, like orgasm meditation, oming.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they like always would refer to it, as oming. It was started in sorry, burp. It was started in 2004 by Nicole Daydone. And I don't really know much about her early life, but the basics are she was raised by a single mother in the Bay Area, was estranged from her father. In the documentary Orgasm Inc., she has some pretty bold statements she makes about her father.
Ooh.
However, I couldn't verify them. But I'll get into that.
I was going to say,
later.
but I need to know what they were.
You'll find out.
Okay.
You'll find out. I couldn't verify them. I actually went to try to verify them, and I ended up on a subreddit that people were on Ancestry.com.
Oh my God, they were looking up. Sleuth.
They were going full on, like looking up newspaper articles, looking at like arrest records for certain, God. People were real sleuthing.
Yeah,
so I
like
can't verify. I'm just going to leave it out there that I just didn't verify that it did or did not happen.
Okay, but we can just
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So she went on to graduate from San Francisco State. At one point, she claimed to be a stripper and a high-end call girl in her late 20s. Both were like kind of like short-lived and had more to do. I think that she didn't come from like nothing. Right. So I think she had a little bit of like freedom to like explore. So I think she was just kind of like figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's around this time. I also call this story into question, but
sure.
She says that she was at a party and she meets a monk. And
at a fucking party?
I know, that was my first.
Okay.
Bullshit. And this monk asked to perform something called a deliberate orgasm on her. And she thinks it's weird at first, but she's like, why the hell not? And she has this like life-changing experience. And
my face, sorry.
Is it the monk? It's the monk that throws me. It's the monk at the party.
And then it's like, hey, can I give you this like life-changing orgasm? And then she's like, yeah. What?
Yeah. So
many things.
So many things.
Ah.
So this monk gives her this like 15-minute orgasm or whatever.
Whoa.
And
that
she
sounds
says,
exhausting. I'm tired just right now.
Right?
Yeah.
So she says that during this, she finally felt like stillness and like peace, and all that like mental chatter just kind of like melted away. And so she was like, could sense this like own connection, like this connection in her own body, but also like felt like this like inner divinity.
Okay.
And she was like, this is amazing. Like everything just slows and it's relaxed. And I am focusing on nothing but the sensation in my own body, which is like what yoga is, right?
Yeah.
Not to that extent, but like you're focusing on sensation in your own body to kind of like anchor you into this present moment, because oftentimes that like mental chatter is like
so loud,
popping off.
Yeah.
So she wants to explore this further. So she goes to stay at a place in Glen Park called the Welcomed Consensus. The Welcomed Consensus was an organization that coined the practice of deliberate orgasm, or as they like to call it, doing, like D-O.
What?
Big D, big O-ing, so doing.
Uh-huh.
And that organization was based on another organization called Lafayette Morehouse, which was at its like most basic level a free love commune that was like, we're researching like sexuality.
Okay.
For like, and then you can come take classes for like a fee or whatever. So doing consisted of fully clothed men meticulously stroking the clitoris of a woman who was naked from the waist down. The organization held classes to teach this method, which would cost thousands of dollars. And the organization is accused of being a cult. And the founder, R.J. Testerman, is accused of being a sexual predator and grooming girls as young as 10. So that's that organization.
Oh, my God.
Right? So Daedone goes to the Welcome Consensus. They have this like commune. And she's there for 2 years. And she leaves around 2000, right?
Okay.
So 2000, it's about the time of the .com crash.
Okay.
Think like 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Yes.
With my husband,
oh
my second husband, Josh Hartnett.
Okay, when he gave her the orgasm with a fucking feather. Remember?
Oh my God, was he part of the Welcomed Consensus?
Maybe.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's coming together. That blew my fucking mind when I watched that. I was like, but how?
I thought that's
also,
really fucking stupid.
Also, no, I didn't. Because
You didn't think it was stupid?
No.
I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, what the fuckage? And then to realize Aldridge has this fatty ass crush on homegirl.
Oh, Shannon Sossaman?
Uh-huh, she's so pretty.
She is so pretty.
She's so pretty. can't even be mad at that.
No.
He's got
she's
good
gorgeous.
taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, don't watch that. Look away.
It's only for me.
But yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny?
Oh my God, that's so
it's
funny.
All making sense.
I know.
The world is making sense.
2000, 40 Days and 40 Nights vibes. Bye 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 is hot. If you were cool, maybe you had a Nokia. I did not.
I did.
What? This is 2000. I didn't even have a cell phone in 2000.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I did.
What?
I know.
Look at you, cool girl.
I know.
I was over here calling 1-800-COLLECT a Carrot Top.
Mom, I'm ready to be picked up. Bye.
I'm ready to
Mom, I'm ready to pick me up.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I know. And the worst would be like when they're like, will you accept this collect call? And my mom would be like, no.
No.
And then you don't know if she's going to come get you,
You
or
just
not.
gotta wonder.
You're like, that. Did that no sound like a no, I'm just not accepting the call, but I will come get you?
Yeah.
Or is that a no to me and the call?
Yeah. Like,
You
do I
never
get to
know.
hang out for a little bit longer? Is what I just heard. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, it was always at school.
Oh.
Like, come get me from school.
Wait, your school made you call collect?
Yeah.
You had a payphone at
Yeah,
school?
you didn't have a payphone at school?
No.
Oh.
What? Okay, Vista. Didn't want nobody using their phone lines.
Hell no.
No. Oh my God, that's so funny. And I take it back. I had a cell phone in 2001, not 2000.
I got one in 2000 because that was when I was 16.
Yeah. That was when I started dating this guy. It's a long story.
Yeah.
But yeah. That is so funny.
I know.
It's the time. Okay.
The time. Sign of the times.
Sign of the times.
So if you weren't cool, you were calling 1-800-COLLECT a la Carrot Top.
A la Carrot Top.
to call whoever.
Whoever.
So the tech landscape starts to change in Silicon Valley. So like even though there's this big like .com crash, there was a lot of companies that kind of like consolidated. So there was all of this money. Facebook starts to like burgeon its way. Like there's all this money that's like starting to like go into these new tech startups.
Yeah.
So Daedone starts to approach the deliberate orgasm with like her own take, which is kind of borrowing from like a lot of like Eastern philosophy, from like yoga philosophy, from Eastern religion, and massages it into...
Interesting choice of words.
I know. That's...
Okay.
I crafted these notes very carefully.
You sure did.
She massaged it into... She stroked it into what would be called orgasmic meditation or oming.
Or oming, sure.
Right. And so the process is the same. Woman or a person with a vagina, undressed from the waist down, person fully clothed with gloves on, known as the stroker. That's like
that's what they called it.
Called the stroker. Would focus only on the upper left quadrant of the clitoris and work that shit out for 15 minutes.
Okay.
It is important to note that the practice does not involve climaxing.
Fuck that.
So
if anybody's touching my clitoris for 15 minutes and I'm not climaxing, get away from me. Get away from me with you and your broke down busted ass hands.
This will come into play a little bit later. And it's not intended to be a form of foreplay at all.
What are they doing?
So the idea is that the pleasure is there just for the woman to feel a connection to their body, to focus on the sensation, to ground them to the present moment.
Okay.
And they also say that there's like also a benefit to the stroker because they'd be more in tune with their partner's needs.
Okay, but you're not.
So there's also like this, it's supposed to be done without this pressure of reciprocity.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So this woman is experiencing pleasure without having to do anything, without having to do anything in return.
Okay.
And just be able to like be there and relax and surrender.
Okay.
And like connect to her own body. So like that's the idea.
That's the idea.
Which, not my jam.
No, I would get frustrated.
No.
But not frustrated. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I ever would get like, I don't know if frustrated is the right word. But it's like a tease almost. Like, you know, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Doesn't
interesting.
sound great to me. Yep.
Yeah. So the definition of what an orgasm is changes and gets more complicated, like as the organization goes on, which leads a lot of people to be like, there's so many definitions. I don't really even know. So it's kind of like, So with the help of financier Rob Candle, she starts OneTaste in 2004. The name comes from a quote from the Buddha, which is like super beautiful. And he says, quote, just as the ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so does this teaching and discipline has one taste, the taste of liberation. Which is like,
I like that.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
Soup's beautiful. I put that in my notes.
Yeah, soup's beautiful.
It says soup's
It's
beautiful.
true. It's true. It is.
It's true. It's true. So they come up as like this little obscure startup company teaching courses in oming, and eventually they create a commune where people can come together, explore oming, and like live.
Okay.
Which coincidentally, I don't know how I had never heard of these people in my life, because we were talking, or like at dinner we were talking about it, because we were like, this is so crazy. I've never even heard of this. And then when I was watching the documentary, the place where they lived, so Tommy used to work right at 7th and Folsom. And while
were they in
he
your
was
backyard,
there,
essentially?
Yes. So basically when he was there, he was right next to this like laundromat / cafe called Brainwash. And I worked from home, so we only had one car. So I would take him to work, and then I'd work from the coffee shop. And it was like literally the same alleyway.
That is so fucking wild.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know who used to they used to have like these really good like open mic comedy afternoons.
Okay. What?
It wasn't a comedy night. It was like comedy afternoons. And you know who's like got their start there? It was Ali Wong.
Stop it.
I never saw her. I don't think.
It's so funny how many people come up and out of that space, like out of that area. Like you were in it.
I know. I was right there with this like weird sex cult.
Yeah.
I could have
been.
I could have been Ali Wong. Well, that explains a lot. Maybe Allie knew about what was going on.
Maybe she was down the way from OneTaste.
I know.
Or there.
So OneTaste builds its audience and eventually lands itself on the front page of the style section of the New York Times in 2009. And it just like launches them because now it's like a thing. They expand to LA, New York. They get celebs to like endorse their classes. Like obviously Gwyneth Paltrow. They were like her. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Khloe Kardashian was like, OneTaste is amazing. And so they just like skyrocket.
Wow.
I know. And so their marketing also, their marketing is like a very specific vibe to that time. Because it's like 2009 to like 2012.
Okay.
It's like they all had these shirts that said like powered by orgasm and like, you know, bright colors. And you think of like the swag at that time for like marketing events where it's like those Ray-Bans with like the the polarized kind of looking.
Oh.
You know, like the kind of like that kind of like marketing
vibe.
Yeah. Where like I don't know. I like watching the documentary, I feel like maybe I had a little bit of like startup culture PTSD. I was like, oh my God.
Right? No.
But yeah, it was very, very like 2012 San Francisco. There's like a lot of codified language, that swag. Nicole did a TED Talk, which obviously gives her like all of this extra clout. And she has this like way of like drawing people in. She's like super cute. She's personable. She has this way of like looking at people while they talk and making them really feel listened to.
Yeah.
And then also talking like not like just looking like she's listening. Like she's listening and then she's either telling them what they want to hear or what they think they need to hear.
Yeah. So she's hooking them.
She's hooking them. Yeah. And so people start to like crave her attention and her audience expands. And if it would have just stayed there, I think that would have been fine. Possibly.
Sure.
And I do attribute maybe like 30% of the blame of what is about to happen getting caught up in like growth metrics of like startup culture.
Oh.
But she does say some stuff that is like really unhinged. Her sales tactics become super predatory. And there's like this line between like sales and sex, like work is like blurred, which I have zero problem with like consensual sex work.
Yeah, of course.
However,
this is the thing.
if they are severely underpaid, then I have a problem with that. Like, if you're going to do it, if you're going to make that money,
do it right.
Get your money.
Make it worth it. Right.
Yeah.
But if it's not equitable, if it doesn't, if it's not fair wage.
Yeah.
Right. Fair wages.
That's
all we want.
Yeah. So OneTaste grows, and so does this cult of personality. Nicole becomes this authority on mindfulness, their spiritual and sexual well-being, and she starts to equate this idea of God or the universe, this essential being in spirituality or religion or whatever, with orgasms.
Okay.
And one-time follower, Ruan Mipagala, said he started to associate orgasm with God and then God with Nicole. So there's starting to be this and she very much is leaning into it.
I was gonna say it's one thing if
this is also
that and make it their own, but there needs to be a reset, right? There if somebody's truly not wanting to take the cult on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just going with it because she likes it. But I'm if that's not what was intended, then why wouldn't you just stop that or correct? Or realign.
No, correct. This is also girl boss era.
Yeah.
Where it's or leaning, the Sheryl Sandberg Lena in situation where I don't know, maybe she thinks that I don't know. I don't think that she mostly got caught up in this. I think that she's got some wackadoodle ideas and it's pretty gross, but I did try to give her the benefit of the doubt. So like most cults, they start out with love bombing, making you feel amazing and empowered. And Nicole is very good at drawing in women because it seems like she's advocating for them.
Yeah, it seems safe.
Yeah, this pressing of or this whole practice of oming exists for the pleasure of women.
And it's, again, without reciprocity, it's it does seem like a safe enough idea as long as it stays what it was, I guess, intended in the beginning, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or what the idea was in the beginning, but
yeah. And I do there's certain things there's this one exchange in the documentary where this guy, he's I really think that we should close the oming sessions because they had very it was kind of an open house of oming, and he's I think that we should close it because it feels like it's exploitive of women. It just feels like that's very exploitive. And she's okay, so I hear you, and what I hear from you is that you want to protect these women from being exploited, but we need to come from a place where men don't feel like they need to protect women because they don't need protecting. They're strong enough on their own. And that is the sign of the patriarchy where you're infantilizing women who you feel like they can't protect themselves, which you can get so caught up in that kind of logic.
Right. It's cyclical. It's a cat chasing its tail.
Where it's where it's it sounds like it's a very feminist idea.
Right.
But it's also kind of I don't know.
It's a feminist idea, but it's also giving reason to turn your back on what could be also happening. You know what I mean? It doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
I think
could call it this, or you could call it that. You could call it, but it's a circle.
Having heard that, when I heard that the first time, I was she might have a point.
She could,
but knowing what I know now, I'm ooh.
Yeah, that seemed like a really convenient response.
Yeah. Well, and I don't. Well, okay. We'll get to
with
it.
What she wanted.
Yeah, it's a way to to be we're gonna do what I want to do, and it's because you're not being feminist enough, and this is how I'm going to discount you. But we'll talk about it. Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's put a pin in this. We'll come back to it.
Put a nut.
So no. I won't edit it out. It's good.
No, I said put a pen in it.
Put a pen. So also this exploitation also helps her customer base grow, because people would come for these oming sessions that were like more or less free.
Right.
And get like, ooh, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And then
for their own reasons that didn't have to match,
Yeah, which might not have aligned with the mission of the company at that time. But then they would be like, okay, well, I want to go to a weekend workshop for $500. And so, which was actually not that, because I don't know. When I was reading, there was a big article about it, and I was reading it, and they were like, it was like $500 for the weekend. And I was like, I mean, it's steep, but like for San Francisco back then, a weekend workshop for something like
that's not bad. And
it's not ridiculous. It's not as insane.
Right.
People throw around a lot of money for weekend workshops there. At these weekend workshops, they would have a lot of women who worked for the company volunteering to be strokies, so that there was often like an odd balance because it was mostly men that signed up. So they would need like volunteers of employees who worked for the company to come and volunteer to be
and like essentially fill a gap.
Yeah, to be like stroked by these guys that they don't know. And which is like, they said that they volunteered, whatever. But a lot of
there's pressure there too.
Yeah,
workplace.
I will dabble in that in a minute. But so at these, and this reminds me of Yoga to the People. But so at these workshops, they would practice communication exercises or icebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be people writing down all of this trauma that people are like talking about, like, oh, I just got divorced, or oh, I have a history of like XYZ.
Right.
And then there'd be people taking notes, and then they would be like, okay, I'm going to send this person because this is going to match this person's, and this is how we're going to hook them.
Right.
And so they would send people off to like hook them into either, it was like a coaching program that was like $12,000, an intensive that was $16,000, or you could pay for a yearly membership, which was $60,000.
What?
$60,000.
That is fucking insane.
60.
That is an annual salary.
Yeah.
For many.
Yeah. Wild. So this is very unattainable for most people.
Right.
So if you couldn't pay for it, they would very graciously show you how to sign up for multiple credit cards.
That's predatory. I'm saying that. That's a different way.
No, that's predatory as fuck.
Financial predation.
Yeah.
That's not it, but you know what I mean. Fucking went for it.
Ruan, that guy who I mentioned earlier, who said that he started to equate like religion or orgasm with God.
And God with
so
her.
He said that like they very graciously helped him sign up for a credit card. And he was like, once you like miss a payment, he's like, there's like something that like clicks in your brain where it's like $3,000, $30,000. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Like you're so far deep in debt that you're like,
whatever. I don't know what that feels like.
And he's like, actually. Then you start, I know, I could not.
That terrifies me.
So then he said that like, then you have to start investing more into it to try to make that investment worth it, because you're like, oh, I'm going to get something. I have to get something out of it.
He's like, I'm already so fucked over.
I need to try to pull myself out by buying in more. And so once you were there, they try to recruit you onto the sales team. And that required, I think it was like the yearly membership. But Bruin said that he was offered 20% of the intake of the New York office at first, and which is a lot of money. I think they were doing like 20 grand a day.
Yeah.
Then he didn't get paid. So then he was like, what's the deal? And they were like, well, no, it's 20% split among 5 people. And he was like, okay. Well, then he didn't get paid. And so he was like, so what's the deal? And they were like, well, that's only if you make XYZ sales goals.
Oh, God.
And he was like, well, I need money. And they were like, you know, what we're doing is like really special. And for you to bring money into it feels like you aren't committed.
Right.
Yeah. So they gaslit him.
Oh, God.
Into being painful. Like, don't talk about money.
That is so painful. That is so painful.
I know. It's so gross. And it's actually something that happens a lot.
It
and
does.
like in startup culture.
It does.
It's like,
well, I don't know about startup culture too.
I mean,
much,
I guess
but
anywhere.
Just in general, like,
but like, I know, like Tommy's worked in startups like since we've been together for like forever. And it's always like, oh, I can't give you a raise, but I'll give you like an extra 0.5% of this if you do X, Y, Z. Like it's always like
dangle of a carrot.
It's always a dangle of a carrot.
You hit
and it's
that metric, and then it's like, okay, well, I've earned.
But then you've got to win.
And then you're like, oh, made to be like too demanding because you're literally just asking for what you're promised. But oh no, it looks.
But you have to buy into the. You got to buy into the whole vision of the company. You got to like be a team player. You need to make sacrifices. And so,
and you know, a lot of the times you're so pot committed that you're like, okay, well, I'm fucked because you're just hoping that they make their word to be something true, and it's just not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that the reason why I mentioned startup culture is because I feel like it made people more willing to work for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are seeing, like, what, at this point, it's like 2012. So people are seeing people who are working for nothing make out like millionaires for Facebook, for whatever other shit was coming up. I cannot even think of it at the moment.
But it's working for nothing with like the promise of possibly making it big and breaking out, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like it's the gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
It's a gamble. It's like literally like
that's also why I think Tommy's been in startup culture for so long.
He's got that gambling.
He's got that gamble heart, gambling heart.
Yeah.
So employees were also encouraged to have sex or own together if there was tension between them.
Okay, listen. If I don't like the way you breathe or eat your crackers, I'm not going to have sex with you. Yeah. It's just not happening.
A core tenet of the company was to do things that make you feel uncomfortable to facilitate growth.
That is such...
And so they did it. And if it wasn't for this, like, if it's not for this, like, kind of like ethos of like, you really need to lean into these feelings that make you feel uncomfortable, it was... I'm so far in, and if I resist, then it's going to affect how they see me, and I won't move up.
You don't look like you're fully bought in, or you don't have they don't have full buy-in from you, and
they were making so little. Like there's motivation to do it to try to keep your fucking job.
That is so sad. That is so disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, it gets way more yuck.
Oh,
yeah. You're welcome for letting you peep into that.
Thanks.
So. It's from here that things only get weirder.
Mm-hmm.
They start dabbling with becoming their own kind of like religion.
Why?
I don't know. Nicole, when asked if she was trying to start a religion, had allegedly said, and this is like allegedly, that, yeah, I want to start a religion, but I'm not selling religion because you can get God on Amazon. I'm trying to sell sex because you can't get that online. I mean, I guess this was like maybe pre-OnlyFans or whatever, but I guess no one can like go through and like, I don't know, go like this on your
But she
clit
literally
forever.
was like, I'm not trying to sell God. Like,
yeah, she's like, I'm literally trying to sell sex. So they offer this thing called Magic School, and it's like a couple grand to participate in the 5-day event. But for some reason, or like for some people, they could pay between like $15,000 and $30,000 and become a priest of Om. And
oh God.
It is this performative ritual where women fully naked, except for like this like black lace like veil over their faces. And like I think that like these priests of Om would like try to stroke them for like an hour. And that while a room of like 200 people watched.
Fucking
and it was like
insanity.
Super like there was a lot of showmanship that went into it.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, but there's this like turning point, right, where it becomes this like they've accepted that this is kind of religious experience.
Yeah.
And she starts kind of like bringing in more things about like God, more things about like a lot more like quotes into her speaking engagements relating like the orgasm to like godliness, and which whatever, maybe there's a kernel of truth in that for some people. but she also like
My eyes can't
filed.
roll
I know she like can't
far
roll enough.
enough. Yeah.
But she starts to like, I think that there's like a lot of these leaders that we find, they get that little taste of power.
Mm-hmm.
And it always goes to a fucking religious thing.
It ruins them. And it does. It always
goes to a fucking religious thing.
Because they love, I think it comes down to, they love being like,
yeah, they
praised.
love the adoration.
They love the praise.
Yeah. And so this power starts to like, I think, embolden her.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts saying shit that's like so fucked up and tries to reframe it that this is like in benefit of like the highest form of femininity. So, and like for the empowerment of women. And so she starts, oh my God, this is like the most wildest thing.
Get it out. I can tell it's hard for you right now.
So she has this talk. There's this video of her giving a lecture, and she I don't know, it's wild. Okay, anyway, so she's giving this talk, and she starts off this talk like, you know those shirts that we have that say like powered by orgasm? I think the next shirts we make should say, I got raped and all I got was a victim story.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And the audience is like, and they're like, oh, like you can hear the uncomfortableness in the audience. I just
don't know where that, like, it's just so bad.
It gets worse. So then she does not read the room and doubles down. And she says, and this is the part that I could not verify that it did or did not happen. Okay. So she goes on to say that that one day her dad died in prison after being convicted of 52 counts of child molestation. And then when she was a child, she was used as bait for him to get other kids. And she said that because trauma is just a feeling in the body that needs to be released via oming, of course. And so she's like, I've released that energy. And in my mind, he wasn't a bad person. It's that his energy was just so big and expansive and fourth dimensional that he couldn't confine himself to the laws of the third dimension.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Your face right now is
I'm so like
you're so mad. She's
like
fuming.
It's just such bullshit.
It's
hard to listen to, and I cannot imagine hearing it in the person and not, and like, no, it's all bad.
Yeah. She then goes on to say that it's like so hard to even say.
Yeah.
She goes on to say that the cure for rape is to be 100% turned on, because then there's nothing to rape.
Oh my God. That is infuriating.
I know. It feels terrible to say the words.
For non-consensual sex, like literally rape. There is no cure for that. And to think that you can convince people that they can, I feel like it's so wrong on so many levels. Like, it just discredits so many people and their experiences and makes them feel like, oh, they could have just like taken control or been turned on by it, and then it wouldn't have been this horrific experience. Like, and it's just
And I think it's especially gross because I think that a lot of people have stories of sexual assault, and a lot of them went to OneTaste looking for healing.
Yeah.
To try to connect with their own bodies because they've lost to like take back this power. Right, then here she is being like, oh, it's just victimization.
Oh, okay. By the way, all I got is a story.
Yeah, actually, that is really gross. It gets grosser. So then things take a dark
Is she alive?
turn. Yes. She is still alive. She starts to ask women to appreciate the predatorial nature of male sexuality. She calls it their inner beast, and to work with the man's inner beast is the highest evolved practice. And she encourages men to let their beast out and to practice something she calls, quote, skillful violation, in which they keep going to indulge their own fantasies while ignoring a woman who is saying no because it's just her words saying no, but it's not what she really wants.
She's encouraging men to go out there and rape women, and when they say no, just to be like, no means yes.
Yeah.
No means they're just,
Yes. So, you're gonna hate this next part. So,
at all. This is
a woman named Aries Blank sued the company in 2015 for forced sexual labor, and the company settled out of court for $325,000, which
enough.
I feel is admitting some sort of guilt.
Sure.
So in the documentary, Aries does not appear, but her sister reads some emails from her during her time at OneTaste, and it lays out domestic abuse from her boyfriend, allegedly in front of coworkers at OneTaste, and claimed that, so he claims that as a victim of childhood violence, I can't look at you when I say this because you're going to be so mad.
I'm getting my face. I can't.
I know.
Face right now.
So he tells her that as a victim of childhood violence, her body was asking for it, and he was releasing his inner beast, and she was shaming and blaming him for doing what her body was asking him to do.
I'm gonna get mad and cry right now. I literally am like so upset.
I know.
It's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
It is so fucked up.
So she stays with this boyfriend. And then she also is stalked and threatened by a client she was ordered to own with, and then was reprimanding for showing fear in the face of the man being vulnerable and showing his inner beast. That's a quote.
Oh my
That's
God.
not me. And then allegedly she was sexually assaulted, and multiple people reported that men were recruited on Tinder for the assault to help her to, quote, release her orgasm.
Oh God.
She was left shaking, vomiting, and disoriented, and was told not to go to the hospital because it was just the pent-up orgasm releasing from her body.
This is fucking crazy.
I know. Which is crazy because at first I was like, this sounds empowering. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's like, get raped and be okay with it. It's like, get raped, it's for the good.
Get raped and be, and it's chill.
Yeah, it's just the way your body is just processing.
Yeah.
Your
It's
trauma,
how you're healing.
Your trauma and your body shaking from all of the fucking bullshit it went through. It's just your orgasm releasing. It's like,
And by then, this definition of orgasm has changed, right?
It's
because it's not about that.
No.
It's not because from the beginning, it was not about the climax. It's about like this like weird journey where it's like a little bit of a high and then a plateau. And then like, I don't know, but it was so confusing that people were confused at what a basic ass orgasm is.
It's so crazy because to me, I'm like, okay, it all started out with a consensual finger diddle.
Yeah.
And now it's just this fucking disgusting beast of mindfuckery.
In 2018, a Bloomberg article called The Dark Side of the Orgasmic Meditation Company came out with such good reporting by a woman named Ellen Hewitt that it caused the company to not only go dark, but it launched an FBI probe into the company.
Well, fucking good.
By that point, Nicole had sold her stake in the company for millions and fled the country. However, in June of 2023, she and a former head of sales were indicted for forced labor conspiracy, and the suit accuses the pair of a years-long scheme to obtain the labor and services of volunteers, contractors, and employees by subjecting them to economic, sexual, emotional, and psychological abuse, surveillance, indoctrination, and intimidation.
Well, fucking good.
Yeah. And then Nicole's lawyers said, no, this is just like SoulCycle or CrossFit.
What? Oh my God. Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
Nope.
No, it is.
Nope.
Not
That was
the
a
same.
fucking swing and a miss.
No.
That is not it.
I do
That was
not
the stretch
think
of all
a 15-minute finger bang is
No.
anything like any CrossFit class
No.
I've ever taken.
No, certainly not.
No.
Oh my God.
The balls. on this woman. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just like a CrossFit.
This is the thing. I feel like there's obviously a pattern, or there's, all these people are just like, they can create their own reality and their own insanity and make it sane for them.
Yeah.
And
they just like talk their way.
Right.
Yeah. Like talk themselves in circles. I don't know. So there is a trial and it's set for January of next year.
We should tune into it.
I'll follow, but we'll just mention it. Remember that one time I followed a trial and had to do an update? That was like the worst episode of my life.
Yeah.
So we'll just be like, hey, she was indicted.
Hey, by the way,
she's arrested.
Yeah.
She lives in San Diego now.
She does not.
She does. I bet you her and what's that one fucking guy's name who we hate?
Fucking loser Ray.
Oh, James Arthur Ray.
Ray.
Maybe they're friends. I bet you they are.
I bet you they're neighbors.
I bet you. She wouldn't be in Carlsbad.
They are, I'm sure.
She does give Carlsbad vibes.
I bet. She's in Sanitas, Carlsbad, La Costa.
Del Mar. She looks like a Del Mar lady.
Probably. Cardiff.
Yeah. Goes to the races with those big fucking hats.
Some of them are cute. Because I just like not.
Have you ever gone and worn a hat?
No, of course not. That's not my jam. But I like people being.
You like
happy.
The pageantry?
Yeah, I just like the performative. Like to them, it's like who can wear a more ridiculous big ass hat? Yeah, that's just the fun behind it. Like, not that it's cute. Like, it. I like seeing people do what they like, but as long as it's not like raping people and fucking being stupid,
So disgusting.
I honestly
I was like mind blown. I should have
earlier.
Yeah,
I was getting really upset.
I was watching this
Also
documentary. So if you guys have the chance to watch the documentary and you want to be even more disgusted, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't cover because some of the stuff that they were like, they had weird occult rituals, and I was like, whatever. I think that's pretty cool, but.
Yeah. You're like, that's cool.
I was like, I think that's pretty cool.
They were
like, I know. I was like, I think that we should focus on the weird shit and not, or like the real weird shit.
The actual weird shit.
Not like, ooh, this woman had a snake.
Yeah, oh no.
And was dancing with it.
Or how about let's talk about instead the shit that's actually wrong.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So it's called Orgasmic on Netflix. And then also I will link to the Bloomberg article and then a couple more things in the show notes if I get around to them, which I don't think I did the last 4 episodes.
Stop it. Okay, that's fine.
I'm so inconsistent. I can't with myself.
And hanging out with me does not do you any favors. Any favors at all.
I'm so
But you have this here board.
I do. I have a huge ass board that has our schedule for the next month and a half.
Yeah, I like it. See? There's that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I do plan, but then after I've posted it, it is done in my mind.
Yeah, it's
I'm
done in the brain.
Fuck it. And I'm like, oh, I have more stuff to do. And then I'm like, no, I'll do it later. And it never happens. I know. But I mean, let's be real. No one is really listening to the show notes or looking at the show notes.
Looking for show notes.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? I'm going to post. Okay, wait, no. If you listen to this, go on the most recent post because it probably won't be this episode.
Right?
And then leave I do look at the show notes and I bet you zero
not a
people.
One.
Not a one of you.
Not a one.
And not just someone trolling me, Jimmy. Jimmy would troll me and be like, I only read the show notes.
We wouldn't believe it for a second.
Would not believe it for a second. No one is reading these show notes.
Not a one.
I know. Why do I even?
Yeah, it's fun though.
It is fun. I just like to chat about it. What should we call this one?
Oh, I should have been thinking about this. This is the every time. I don't know. I just got really upset.
So fucking angry.
Honestly, I'm I don't remember last time I got that worked up where I was fighting anger tears during one of our, because we talk about a lot of fucked up shit.
We talk about a lot of fucked up shit.
We talk about.
Honestly, too, I thought this was going to be a lighter one because we didn't have an episode last week because I was so tired. I had so much going on. And I was like, the last thing I want to fucking do is sit down and read about gross men. And so I thought, oh, gross women for some reason are more fun because like there's always like this like draw that I feel like I'm like, oh, maybe I would get it like drawn in a little bit more by a woman, because I feel like sometimes the rationale is like more like, oh, okay, I can see XYZ. So when I first started this, I was like, oh, I could kind of see how this would be. Like, was this like, because a lot of things I see are also like, they're like, it's a cult. And I'm like, I don't know about that. But this shit was wild.
This was honestly...
it's the worst one I think I've done in quite a while.
You know, one thing rape makes me very ragey. It makes me very uncomfortable. It makes me, I think it's like, it's like anytime Aldrich and I are watching a movie and there happens to be a scene, we literally zip past it. We cannot sit there and watch that. Like, it's just, it makes me uncomfortable and upset. And when somebody plays down something that's so fucking awful and disgusting,
and like trains a whole community of people to fucking
go out there,
victims,
to gaslight the victims, and then, by the way, go out there and do it because it's just their body. That's just their, them saying that, but their body really wants it. Like,
fucking so
you're
gross.
Encouraging an army of beast, like, to listen to their inner, to go out there and fuck people up. Like, it's disgust. Yeah. I don't know what to call this episode. Mad. Rage.
Mad. I feel like orgasm if you are...
Orgasm stink. I don't know. Fuck them. I can't. Mad.
I highly suggest if... I'm going to repeat the trigger warning.
I think,
I think that for the R word and for other sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And physical abuse as
not
domestic abuse.
Yeah.
I like literally, if you even get a little bit, just maybe don't listen to this one.
Yeah.
I hate to do that to us, but it's really bad.
It's really bad. No, it's really bad.
What have I done?
It's fine.
It's fine. It's not fine. It's fine.
It's not fine.
Nothing's ever fine.
But you covered something that happened.
That's gross. But, so, even though there is like a trial and all that shit, she is still doing this shit. Now it is called the Eros community, I believe. Like EROS. Yeah. And so she's like rebranding it into a more like esoteric kind of situation. And instead of being like a religious leader, she's approaching it as a sex artist. But she has written something called the Eros Sutras, which sutras are, it's like the Yoga Sutras kind of, where it's like kind of like some core tenets that can also kind of be misconstrued into this weird thing. But there's also like an Eros temple, and I don't know. She is still trying this, and I do think that she's going to try to make a comeback. So I feel like we could have not done it because it's gross, but I also feel like it's good to know.
Get it out there.
Because she's still trying to do this shit.
Yeah, she's not done.
Yeah, she's starting to, she's literally, I just listened to her on a podcast and she was there.
She's on a podcast somewhere?
Yeah.
Who invited her onto their podcast?
A woman who like kind of entertains too much, but also does call her a little bit on her bullshit. She was like, you have your millions of dollars. Why not just go away and just like, don't do this? And she was like, because I believe in the message so much, it needs to be out there. And so I don't think that she's done. I think that she's going to try to...
Fuck her.
Yeah. So
I can't imagine a mom...
So beware.
Yeah, I can't imagine a mom understanding that and being okay with her.
A mom?
I'm just...
Like anybody, you mean?
Anybody. I think when I get protective, like when I, that this woman is somewhere amongst the children of our, just anybody.
Yeah.
Our vulnerable population being our...
Yeah.
Encouraging men to go out there and rape them.
It's gross.
I don't know what to call this one.
Yeah, we can just be like, yuck, rage.
Anger.
Yuck, rage, anger.
Yuck, rage, anger. Orgasm stink.
Orgasm stink. You just can't get past orgasm stink. Oh my God, I just got it. Like Orgasm Inc.
Uh-huh. The whole time
I was like, what?
you're like, why do they smell? What do you mean stink? Does somebody have a problem? Does somebody
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't get it.
That's so weird.
Oh my God. Fucking
God.
Oh my
I just
God,
because
I
I
need to
have
stop.
Orgasm Inc. written here. One taste, no taste. Yucky taste. Yucky poo poo taste.
Yucky poo poo taste.
Yucky poo poo.
No, thank you. All
Fuck
right. Well,
that.
thanks for listening. We're sorry
Yeah, sorry
you subjected to that.
to all of this.
Oh my
But
God. Oh my God. This episode is like almost 2 hours.
stop. Oh my God, we can't.
We gotta go. Oh my
Okay.
God. All right. Bye.